This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Tonight, the number of deaths is rising from the Israel-Hamas war. At least 22 Americans are dead, along with more than 1,000 Israelis and more than 1,000 people in Gaza. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Hamas could be holding more than 100 others hostage, including some Americans. At least 17 Americans are still missing right now. CNN's Laura Aguirre has the latest.
My commitment to Israel's security and the safety of the Jewish people is unshakable.
A commitment made stronger as escalating reports of atrocities against civilians in Israel emerge.
We've never seen such savagery in the history of the state, and they're even worse than ISIS.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sharing that comparison with President Joe Biden in a call Tuesday. In the hours since, new discoveries of Hamas's brutality have come to light.
Murdering civilians, children, women, dragging a Holocaust survivor in a wheelchair across the border.
Israeli officials say that in at least one village, infants and toddlers were found decapitated, claims that Hamas denies.
These images and the depravity of Hamas has got to be addressed. They've got to be neutralized.
The reports worsening the fears of those who have loved ones being held hostage by the militant group.
This is a very crucial moment. We have no time to think about the dead.
It is Hamas that needs to listen very, very carefully, because if they want to come out in any way or form of this conflict alive, they need to release those people immediately.
For now, Israel is amassing troops and preparing for a ground offensive in Gaza.
The ramifications of this strategic attack against Israel is a game changer, and we need to change the rules of this game.
I'm Laura Aguirre for 5 on Your Side.
We lost 22 Americans. That number could still go up, and it probably will.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on his way to Israel. He says the country is showing support for Israel, and he is also focused on finding American hostages. And as the war continues in the Middle East, Israelis and Palestinians are continuing to pray for peace in the region.
Today, 5 on Your Side's Holden Kowicki spoke with multiple Palestinian Americans living in the Metro East to give us their perspective. Hold it.
Well, Mike Kelly, it's an unfortunate fact that fighting between the two sides is nothing new. Those that I spoke with came to America for peace and prosperity, but their attention is once again turned to their families back in Palestine. Since the fighting began over the weekend, Saddam and Milad Hamed have been glued to their phones to stay up to date with the latest details on the war and to check on their loved ones in the West Bank, which is controlled by the Fatah, which has a tenuous relationship with Israel and is politically opposed to Hamas, which controls Gaza. As Israeli forces prepare for a ground invasion of the Gaza Strip, I asked them both what it would take for the bloodshed to stop.
I hope it ends today, you know. I hope everything goes back, and it starts being in peace all over, you know.
I'm sure there's Israelis, I'm sure there's Palestinians that would love to live in peace like they lived for hundreds of years in Jerusalem and those parts. They've lived, for hundreds of years peacefully. I mean, make it a one state.
Both Saddam and Milad made it clear that Islam does not condone the killing of innocent people, regardless of their religion. I'll share more of their story and calls for peace coming up at 6 o'clock. Mike?
Holden, thanks. A positive update on a story we first told you about yesterday afternoon. A Metro East couple who got stuck in Israel, now heading back home to Godfrey. Danny and Carmen Rowe went on a spiritual journey with multiple church groups on Friday. Their daughter tells us they found a flight out last night. Today they made a stop in Greece and Germany. They will then stop in Paris. They're scheduled to arrive tomorrow in St. Louis.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, Lester Holt hears from the family of Americans who say Hamas abducted their loved ones. One family from Illinois is begging for their safe return.
What do you want your sister and your niece to know right now?
I want them to know that we're doing everything in our power to bring them back. We do not forget them. We do everything we can in the States, in Israel. We're very worried about them. We love you. And we want to hug you. And we want you back home.
Lester Holt is live in Israel again tonight. That is in about 25 minutes after our newscast. And you can read the latest on the Israel-Hamas war on KSDK.com. For a link to our stories, text the word Israel to 314-425-5355.
Today, House Republicans nominated Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise to be the next House Speaker. But we still don't know when there will be a final vote.
The House ousted Kevin McCarthy last week following a deal to avoid a government shutdown. 2 Republicans were in the running for Speaker, Representative Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. During a secret ballot, the GOP nominated Scalise 113 to 99.
First, I want to thank my House Republican colleagues for just designating me as the Speaker. Obviously, we still have work to do. We're going to have to go upstairs on the House floor and resolve this and then get the House opened again.
You know, the conference is divided. We need to come together.
It's still not clear whether Scalise will get enough votes to become Speaker. Some GOP lawmakers say they will not vote for him. At least 2 members of Congress from the St. Louis region are backing Steve Scalise's bid to become the next Speaker of the House.
Republicans Ann Wagner and Mike Bost both say they will vote for Scalise. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, has more on how the Speaker's race is impacting a big primary race.
Kelly and Mike, the fight for the gavel spilled over into southern Illinois, where Congressman Mike Bost's challenger, Darren Bailey, called on him to support Jim Jordan instead. Bailey attacked Bost in a statement claiming he had betrayed former President Trump in backing Scalise and the establishment over Jordan, the founder of the Freedom Caucus. We spoke with Congressman Bost just moments ago. He did not reveal how he voted on that secret ballot, but said now he's publicly backing Scalise because he won in that round in the closed-door meeting. Bost also hammered Bailey for this photo op foible. Last year, when Bailey was running for governor, he met with a Palestinian American group in front of that map that the Bost campaign said, quote, erased Israel from existence. Bost says the House cannot afford to waste any time electing a speaker so it can send a clear signal to the rest of the world that America is poised to confront any threats it might face on the world stage.
We do need to get the speaker elected and in place so that we can move forward. Regardless of what goes on from here, that is a reason why we should not have vacated the chair, because this type of situation, my biggest fear was something like this would happen when the chair was vacated.
Initially, we thought there'd be a vote for Speaker today. Bost now says he expects that vote tomorrow. Jim Jordan will nominate Steve Scalise on the floor and is right now whipping votes for the guy he was running against. If Scalise keeps his lead and becomes Speaker, this will be the second time Darren Bailey has been on the losing side of that Speaker's race. Perhaps one reason why the House Republican campaign arm, the NRCC, is opposing his primary challenge to the 5-term incumbent Mike Bost.